Good morning, and good morning. How you doing this morning? Good to see you in the space. Come on in here with me. I was running around, of course, in my house, trying to get it together. And I don't know, the cold weather just kind of gets to me and slows me down a little bit. Because I'm cold natured, and so I'm too cheap to turn on the heat yet. So there is no heat on in the house. So I had on layers of clothes, and I just finally got it together of what I was going to wear today, and I am feeling a little warm. I could be better, but I'm feeling a little warm this morning, since I added on a sweater and a shirt, and then I have on a jumper, and I'm getting it together for you. I'm getting it together. But how was your last couple of days? What did you do? What were you involved in? Was it something that gave you excitement, joy? Did you have a period where you might have cried about something? We go through those things. We hit our nadar. Remember, nadir pretty much talks about when we go to the point where we are down at our bottom. All of us have been there. But good morning, Calithia. How are you doing, my love? Hey, Miss Joan, missed you, miss you, miss you. Whenever Joan's not here or Debbie, I'm looking for them. And Calithia, because you all come pretty regulars. It's always good to see you in the space. And that's all I can say. It's just always good. I'm always excited when I see your names coming up. Today I wanted to talk, so I got a long word today. Usually I give you a short word, but today I got a long word for you, which is really talking about becoming confident. How do we become confident after we've been knocked down or rejected or refused? Good morning, Rhoda. How are you doing, sweetie? Or we've been rejected, or we've just gone through something that just kind of helped us lose our balance, our sense of self, our sense of forwardness. How do we get back to that? And so I said this morning I want to start up with, instead of doing a poem, I have some statements from some people who talk about what becoming confident really allows us to do, which is to actually pour back into ourselves. Pour back into ourselves. Sometimes we have trouble with that. We live with the world being our determiner of our mood, of our feeling of being, somebody. But a lot of times if we would just go into ourselves and figure out what makes us happy, what makes us content, what makes us successful. You have to start with I. You have to. You have to. Because somebody will give you an I for you, and it's just this one. It's not the I meaning you, it's the I of them. Because when they're looking at you, they're already forming an opinion. So you need to find it in yourself. That's where your confidence is, and to become confident you have to really look at some things. So here's a couple of these that I found this morning, and it says, the first one is by J.M. Barrie. It says, the moment you doubt whether you can fly, you cease forever to be able to do it. Interesting, huh? Because I am a person who has always told myself I can't swim. Guess what? I can't swim. So the statement has a lot of truth to it. I remember trying it and being so fearful of it, but I should have walked back through my fear, and I never did. So sometimes we have to walk back through fear in order to bring it where we're able to say we conquered it and we become more confident. Here's another one. It says, when you're different, sometimes you don't see the millions of people who accept you for what you are. All you notice is the person who doesn't. That's heavy right there. Right there. That's by Jodi Picoult. Isn't that true? Sometimes everybody else said the performance was great when you did a live or whatever, or you sung beautifully, or you all this different things, and then somebody says, well, you're a little pitchy. You focus on that So the other people who wasn't looking to be the critic just says they heard the beauty in the other notes that were not pitchy. So once again, here's this one. I like this one. This is by Theodore Roosevelt. Believe you can and you're halfway there. Believe you can and you're halfway there. That's a good statement. It's true. I think there's a lot of truth to it. This is by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. It says, as soon as you trust yourself, you will know how to live. As soon as you trust yourself, you will know how to live. Truth in that. There's truth in that. I truly believe it. This is by E.E. Cummings. Once we believe in ourselves, we can risk curiosity, wonder, spontaneous delight, or any experience that reveals the human spirit. That's what we can find. Wow. E.E. Cummings. That's really good. Once we believe in ourselves, we can risk curiosity. How many of us will take a risk? You know, I talked about that the other day on Monday. Taking risks. Sometimes we have to try things we haven't tried before. I should have gone back and tried that swimming before I became too afraid of it. Here's this one. Let's see. This is by Bell Hooks. It says, knowing how to be solitary is central to the art of loving. When we can be alone, we can be with others without using them as a means of escape. When we can be alone, then when we can be with others, it's not feeling as if we are at an escape. That's true. I'm comfortable being by myself and I'm comfortable being with others, you know, and they said that's the balance. Not feeling that every time you go out, someone's going to, you know, ridicule or, you know, find something wrong in you. But if you're expecting it or you hear it, then that's when you shut down. We got to come back up. We have to come back up. We have to say, I am who I am. I found my confidence. I am confident. Here's another one. Don't waste. This is by Tina Fey, you know, who used to be with SNL. It says, don't waste your energy trying to change opinions. Do your thing and don't care if they like it. That's a good one. That's a good one. When we're looking at being confident, sometimes we have to go all around all of the people that are in our way. Not, you know, because Bell Hooks statement. I do too. I'll read Bell Hooks statement again. It says, knowing how to be solitary is central to the art of loving. When we can be alone, we can be with others without using them as a means of escape. That's good. That's real good. Good. So anyway, what is confident? Let me ask you this morning. Are you stuck on not being confident this morning? I'm not. I decided I'm going to be confident. I'm going to stand on what I believe. You know, I'm going to reach out for things I don't have understanding to and try to learn how to do them. And I mean, you know, I talk about swimming, but swimming is probably my major thing but there's some minor things that I took on, you know, and I conquered them. You know, many of us have trouble speaking in public, or it might be, you know, writing something, or I remember being absolutely, you know, just scared to my core the first time I was asked to pray out loud. What? Me pray? I did it, you know, and once I did it, then I said, okay, so I conquered it, you know, and, you know, I guess because prayer was always silent, other than the fact that when we were little, my mother made us say them out loud and on our knees. But, you know, I've learned to do them where I pray wherever I'm at all day long about, you know, getting some support from up above for what it is that I'm doing. But we just don't know. We don't know. So confidence says that there's a feeling of showing confidence in ourselves, that it's self-assurance. We know what we want to do. It says it's self-positiveness, assertiveness, self-proposed, believing in oneself, It's where you have your own calm. You're not worried about anybody else telling you anything. You're okay with it. It's where you're composed, level headed, unflappable. Have you ever met people that were unflappable? No matter what you said to them, they didn't care. Those are good. Those are good things because they said that's how you stay in your own confidence because you know who you are and you're not worrying about somebody else telling you anything. It says unfazed and together. You know, you're together because you're not worried about what they're saying. You say, okay, I heard you, gonna move on. I'm gonna step right over that, you know. And I think as children, we watch because we were talking the other day. Some friends of mine and I were talking about the fact that children, because they don't know, can be very cruel. And so to other children whose feelings might be right near the surface, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. But when they grow up and they grow further into who they are and they understand who they are, then what other people say doesn't matter. I know my mother and them always taught us sticks and stones. It was sticks and stones is hard because sometimes the sticks and stones would be what they would throw or hit you with. But the words that remained with you, sometimes you had to go back to the house as a child to get the buildup. And the buildup. Well, my mother was a tough mother. She almost reminded me of the mother of my dear who went on the school bus, okay, and told her who was bothering, my child here, who was bothering this child, because I'm getting ready. I'll meet you after at 3:00. So it's funny, but it's true because my mother would defend us like that. But as we got older, she was preparing us to defend ourselves. Whatever they say, it's not your say. It's not who you are. Don't listen. But as we get to an adult, some adults still worry about what other people say, and how they make them feel. Good morning, Sandra, my namesake, Donaldson. How you doing? Unfazed and together. I like that. Unfazed and together. Sometimes that's what we have to be, unfazed and together. We may set out to do something and someone says, why? What purpose? I don't think you should be doing that. Well, that's your opinion. It's not my idea. It's your opinion of an idea that I want to take on. Okay, no problem. I'm going to do it anyway. When I break this word down this morning in our Are You Stuck process, I start out with my C. And my C today is for creative. I believe that everyone has the possibilities of being creative. Once they get into who they are, what they like to do, out of that can come creativeness. That's their point of entry into not bringing out who they are, but moving forward on where. That's right. Names do hurt as a child, and sometimes as an adult. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes adults can be very cruel. They intend to inflict, what I would call like an emotional roller coaster for you. They think they need to bring you down or make sure they let you know that they're in charge. But they're in charge of what they say. They're not in charge of how they make you feel. That's when you have to be in charge. Where you're able to say, okay, that was just craziness they're talking. I'm not going to believe it. I'm not going to get into that. Capable. We have to be capable. We have to consider ourselves to be capable. We have to feel that we have the confidence and that we're confident enough to be capable of taking on people and things and doing what ourselves, being who we are. But creative, my word says, relating to or involving the imagination of original ideas. Your idea may be the idea that, could be sold on Shark Tank, could be a change for the world. You never know. So that's why I'm always trying to encourage people, live who you are. Try the things that excite you, bring you an opportunity to just put things together, doing things, making them yours while doing them. It says that, when you have this this gift, and I will call it a gift of creativeness, it says that you are innovative. You've decided on your own what it is you want to do. And sometimes you can listen to some of the stories that people have done, and they're absolutely astonishing. The stories that people have created, they tell you, and what ends up being wow, unbelievable stuff. And creative also talks about it being original. It's yours. It's no one else's. Now, let's face it, people will steal. They will steal your ideas. They'll steal the way you do things, and I know people, have done that with me for years, and they never give you the credit. They're not going to give you the credit, but they do steal it. But one of the things I've learned from a really good friend, also a writer, she said that, when people take from you, it's really a form of flattery, you know if they're using things the way you use them, and they've created something that is similar to what, or it is your stuff, it's flattery. They're not going to ask you for it. They're just going to use it. And eventually they'll believe it to be their own. But to me, anybody that takes anything that was created by someone else and gives them no credit, I don't know. I find weakness in it. I find weakness in it. That's just me personally. But creative also talks about it being productive and inventive. That's the opportunity that is set up with my O of confidence. Opportunity is my word for the next, for the O in confident. Opportunity, it says it's a set of circumstances that makes it possible to do something. Think about that. If you have an opportunity to do what no one else is doing, it's your own creativeness. Do it. Do it. Make it exciting. Make it where not only are you getting other people interested in what you're doing, but you're even more interested to add more to it. Add more on to what it is you're doing, it making it fun. It says, the opportunity is a chance. How many of you take chances? And we take chances with love. We might even take chances with money. We may take chances in where we live, even chance if we decide to walk late out at night. But how many take chances in looking at a new opportunity, to just using your creativity to form something that wasn't there before, or you see it differently than the way someone else does it? Maybe you're improving on it. But that's what it says. Opportunity is that lucky time. Now, I don't really believe in luck. I say blessed, but some people say luck. Occasion, it's an opportunity, a moment, the possibility, the freedom that you get from being creative. That's yours, the freedom. It says elbow room, meaning you're going into a space that you weren't there before. So you're creating space for yourself. How many of us do that? Most of the time we wait for others to create something when we can use it. But it says the persons that are generally successful are the ones that look at the world in a way that says what is missing, not what's here, what's missing, how many need it, and therefore they fit right in. Because all of a sudden you've exposed this idea that what other people are struggling with or needing, you have the answer to. So I like that opportunity one. It says also taking your shot or your break. Like my N, when I move on, is I have navigator. You become a navigator of your life. You can be still and never do nothing, or you can become the navigator that says, okay, I conquered that. Now I'm going to try this. Or I added this, I have a line of products. I've added this one. I'm going to try it now with this, and I have a friend that I used to see every single year at the American Counseling Association, which I used to be a member of, was a president of one of the groups. And we had a ball Hi, Ardelia. How are you? Good to have you in the space today, baby. Necessity. That's right. Necessity is good. We do need that. We do have a necessity. Um, and she has now, even though she left, ACA, she moved to another company that's smaller, but she started her own business of hand care and, I would say like woman essential products. Wonderful. So I've already had my second order of her stuff. It makes your skin feel like butter. Okay. Very, very good. I don't know the name of it. I can't remember the name of it right now. But if you want to know, inbox me and I'll let you know how good it is. Really, really good stuff. And I ordered a scent that to me is just luring. It just smells really, really clean, and makes your skin very soft and shiny. And so I'm just saying, I like it. So navigator is my word for my end. Thank you so much, Ardelia, for necessity. But a navigator can be a person who navigates their talk and their walk, and they're basically in charge of planning the route for where they're going. They're the planners. I'm on my way. Hey, good morning, Debbie. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Today we're confident. I'm confident that you're here and present. Thank you so much. We started out with confident, which is of course feeling and showing confidence in yourself and assuring this. Creative is my first word. Opportunity, my second. I'm now on navigator, and navigator talks about one who can direct their own path. Okay. They decide that an idea has been given to them. Maybe they woke up with it like crazy me. I wake up with crazy stuff. And all of a sudden, I'm planning something for how I can carry out the plan, the idea. How can I plan it in such a way? So the navigator would be the pilot, the helmsman, the steerman, the wheelman, and the guide. They are the people that says we know how we're going to get all of this out there to where it needs to get to the public. What word? The word is confident. The confident is the word. CONFIDENT. So it's a long word today. I usually do short words because I don't want to keep y'all too long, but thank you. You're welcome. The next word as I move along in confident, on my F, I have is my feeling. I need to have a feeling about what it is that I'm doing. My feeling sets it up for how I need to proceed into how I navigate, how I look at what opportunities are out there. And listen, I'm a person who will go online or go to some of my resourceful friends and ask, hey, what's out there in terms of this area? Ask questions. Who's out there? Who's doing something? Or I research it. The internet, Google is much faster than the periodicals and stuff, but occasionally I will go to the library and look in some periodicals and articles and looking for what's going on, what has already went on, and how in my idea of what going forward, what would I put out there? How would I do it? So it's going to give me a feeling of basically firmness, being fixed, being focused, all those things that push me forward into my feelings. This is firmness, fulfilling, all those are good. Open-minded. Oh yeah, for opportunity, open-mindedness. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And the feeling, it says, is something that we experience and something that we sense. That's our feeling. It says something we will go through. We will bear the burden, or we will bear the boastfulness of the idea that it moved higher. We were able to deal with it. It says we could also, in our feelings, we could suffer. We could have a sense of knowing. And then we could also just have, the idea that we need to change a few things. The feeling, because everything we do, we're going to have a feeling in it or from it. We will. When we move further along in our faith, I love that, Debbie. Faith in yourself. That's good. And fair, what is it? Fair spoken. Okay, that's good too, because we have to look at how it's presented and what we're going to deal with it on. How will we deal with it? Next, I have my I of confident. My I is individualism. We are in our own individuals, inner strength. That's good. Um, Individualistic, when we've decided that we're going to be our own individual and not listen to what other people tell us we're going to do, but this idea that we were given, we're going to work on it. We're going to step out on it. We're going to plan it. We're going to, carry it out. Impression. That's good. What impression we have of ourselves. Inner strength impression makes sense to me. I used individualism. It says it's the habit or principle of being independent. We don't have to ask anybody permission to do things. We need to step out and have a plan on how we're going to carry them out. And it says self-reliant. So we may want to ask people as we get farther along, but I don't know. For some people, I've even heard this, that they've shared their ideas with somebody and their ideas were stolen. Have you ever heard it? I have. I've seen some people say it, they experienced that. Even with business. The business started out with the person that created it, but something happens, and next thing you know, the person that didn't create it becomes the owner, operator, and foresight of the business going forward. I've seen it. Interesting. That's a good word, because things are interesting to you, and they'd have to be to you if you decide that you become, individualized on putting out what it is that you want people to see, use, care about, that you have to put it in their vision, their ears, hopefully their hearts. So individualism talks about being self-reliant, that somebody wrote, independent, free thought, meaning you don't need anybody else to tell you. Now you can discuss it with people that you trust, and hopefully you all will end up still going forward as friends or colleagues. It says understanding that originality also comes with your individualist. Being an individualist, you will have your own originality, how you do things. How you do things may be totally different from somebody else, and they should be, because they're yours. They're yours. My D in confident I used is determined. I feel that if someone is showing they're confident, they're looking at, I'm determined to get this done. I'm determined. Oh, dignity is good. How do we use our dignity if we don't strut it with the being determined? Okay. Because I've seen some people say, wow, you did that. And I said, yeah, it was given to me. Okay. I say it was given to me. Dignity, dependability, discipline, all of those are good. And I do believe you need to be disciplined when you're doing something that is creative. It's yours, or it's an idea, you're putting it out there and you want people to use it. If it's a product, I don't know, if you sell certain things, you have to make it where you're in your determination, you make it available. Now, I had a friend that was doing some really cute stuff. I think it was jewelry. She had different types of jewelry, but the demand became larger than she could handle. And so sometimes we also have to measure, determine not just what we can do, but how much of that we can do and still keep our own business to ourselves and sanity. Come on. Decency is good, Joan. Yes. Dedication, decency, discipline, dependability, dignity. All those are great words. They are great words. But determined says that you're committed. Okay. A lot of times people start out with the idea that they believe they're committed, but they're not. They fall short of the commitment. They fall short. Okay. Um, Next, for my E of inconfident, I have is being enthusiastic. I believe that when I start every day, I'm enthusiastic about whatever the heck I'm going to do, whatever. I have a meeting later. I'm going to help my daughter do something, and I'm going to be present. I'm going to be present. I have to be enthusiastic. It's showing. It says having or showing intense or eager enjoyment, interest, or approval. And sometimes we're tired. We're pulled into certain things, um, and we're not really that enthusiastic about being there. But sometimes, if we just calm down, we'll get into it. It'll make us where it's okay. Ego is good. Enlightened, endurance. Oh yeah, endurance is really good. Earnest. How many of us are earnest and when we made a decision to do something? We start out well with being earnest. Sometimes we fall short. We fall short if somebody says something that we think they shouldn't have said or did something they weren't supposed to do. But remember, this is your idea. If it's your idea and it's your project, rope it back in, rope them back in, saying, you may have to tell them, well, it's really my idea, so we're good. Elegance. I like elegance. I think elegance is a wonderful word. Experience. I like that word experience but sometimes experience doesn't always play in right away with our creativity. It may show up once we start experimenting out on setting up that plan that we want to do, making it through whatever opportunities we get and setting up our creativity. Then we can experience all of that. But yeah, very, very good. Um, Enthusiastic talks about us being eager, keen, avid, fervent, passionate. How many of us get passionate about the things that we want to do? You know, um, like like if you have one passionate area, write it in there right now. Like for me, my passionate area is singing. I love to sing. And I got to admit, I don't do it as much as I love to do it. Um, but I do probably practice every single day, um, doing scales or singing songs that are rangy, trying to make sure I keep I keep those octaves okay. At one time I probably had 6 octaves. I don't anymore. I'm probably down to maybe four, but certainly not six anymore. I can't stretch it like that. But art for Debbie, reading for Joan. Anybody else? We have to keep something that gives us joy, something that makes us excited, something that gives us peace, pleasure, calms us down. Reading, I love to read. I love to read. So I'm always reading something, or writing. I'm going to do one or the other. And I never watch TV solo, unless I'm sick. If I'm sick, then I might be watching a little TV. But if I'm well, I'm probably writing something, reading something, doing something. Oh, crocheting. I like crocheting. My mother taught me how to crochet when I was young. You know, I remember uh, and then knitting. Is it knit and tuck? I don't even know. But I used to be real good with the crochet. I used to be able to make some. I made hats and scarves, and I made a vest once. It wasn't the best because I had missed a few, a few loops. But other than that, look, I sewed it in there. Nobody knew. But anyway, um, also when we move further along in our word of confident, it says no, being able to negotiate. How many of us can negotiate not only our path, but how much we're going to take on, how much we're going to give to others, the expectations of us and others working together, because sometimes, I think I said it earlier, if you show your weakness and somebody else has that strength, you may find that you become null and void and they're running everything. So let's see, narcissism and nerviness. What is nerviness? Because I don't know that word. Or nerviness. Oops. Or narcissism. Okay, that I said it, but I didn't. I just didn't think it was spelled like that. But anyway, I know you got them quick fingers, Debbie. But notable, natural, notable, all of those things are really good because let's face it, in our own naturalness, we are who we are. Period. Okay, period. How we look, how we behave, all of those things. Those are our natural state of being. Now, some people may do some lot of altering in terms of their looks and things, but it's still what you see is what you get. That's as natural as you're gonna get it. Okay. But when we negotiate something, we find a way we find a way to get through all of our obstacles. Okay. That's when we negotiate. We if we're driving, we need to know if there's an accident and we can see it far enough in advance where we can take another route. That means we're negotiating something. We realize that we need to make a change. And that's the same thing in business, in life, even in love. We find that something's not working right. Got to make a change. So it says that's when we make, a decision to obtain or bring about, a conclusion or a better situation. Okay. It says where we rearrange things, we work out some kind of agreement. We may do a contract, we may settle, we may conclude, we may clinch, we may table, but it's still there. It's still there. We may have to go through some things to negotiate going forward once something has shown itself to be a little rough at this point in our ability to work with others or work by ourselves. Sometimes money may be funny. Something may be off, and that just sets us up to have an issue. My last word, my last word is talk. To me, to be confident, you have to be able to talk. Even the people who are only writers and do not speak, the talk comes through their writing. Okay, tip top. That's right. You need to be tip top. For me personally, I like to talk. I came from a family of 10 children. So if you didn't say anything, okay, it was believed you agreed with everybody else. Well, I was the baby, so I was always the holdout. I was always the one that wasn't satisfied. I either didn't get enough of something, I didn't get to go someplace, I was this, I was that, but I let it be known. So talk is good. So to me, I'm going to talk. I am going to talk. It says speak and give information or express ideas or feelings. There's that word feelings again that we dealt with earlier. It says converse or communicate by spoken words. To me, the person that is silent may be the person with the best darn information, but if they don't ever tell you, you may never know. Maybe they'll put it on paper. But a lot of times, if you have an opportunity to speak and tell it in your own voice, your own fashion, your own, what I'd say your own feeling, you'll probably be satisfied with what comes out. Or even if it's words of anger, it's still communicating. Okay. So as a person who is confident, it says that person is going to be able to speak, maybe even babble a bit, converse in such a way, orate, gab. These are all the words that describe talking, articulate, verbalize, vocalize, communicate, discuss, confer, and parlay. So when I just think about all the things that I said becoming confident for me meant was really looking at the fact that confidence required me to look at my own creativity, taking on any opportunity that is presented to me, negotiating for my sake and anyone else's sake that's working with me. Having that feeling that tells me I'm on the right track is important. Realizing that it's an individualized decision that I make when I've decided to do certain things, that I must be determined. I must show my enthusiasm for it. Negotiate when things are turning up or turning down or going sideways, and then do it with the best talk I can. That's how I put it all together. That's what confident for me is. I'm hoping that you enjoyed this session. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Friday. I'm supposed to do I always volunteer. I'm supposed to volunteer Friday with the CDAC at the Ronald McDonald House. So it starts at 9, but I told them I usually work with you all at 9. So I'm going to have a short word on Friday at 9, and then I'll go in and work with them until noon. But I appreciate you guys so much for spending a little time with me that you don't mind. If you don't do anything else, hit share. You don't have to pay me for anything. Just hit share and more people will come to my channel. I also show, this also goes to my YouTube channel and also Instagram. So if you all would be so kind, and by sharing that, we'll get it out there more and more and more. But my interest is that more people will come and that we will have more discussions on everything that kind of goes on in a session of Are You Stuck? Sure you are. Occasionally we all get there, but then life improves. Okay. Love you guys. Appreciate so much. Have a great day. Be safe out there. See you on Friday. Bye-bye. Thank you. Hey, Miss Rosie. Go back and look. Thank you. Love you.